7. Foods you should never store in the fridge. They can cause cancer. If you're 60 or older, this message is for you. Every day, we do simple things in our kitchens that feel completely harmless, habits we've been following for years. But what if I told you that some of these habits could be quietly damaging your health? It may sound surprising, but research shows that the way we store certain natural foods can cause them to lose valuable nutrients, change their composition, and even create harmful byproducts over time. And here's the tricky part. These are not junk foods or heavily processed snacks. These are everyday, natural foods, the ones we often believe are healthier and safer when kept in the fridge. Think about this. Have you ever put raw potatoes in the fridge, hoping they'll last longer? Or kept tomatoes there to stop them from going bad? Maybe even tucked away bread to keep it fresh? What if I told you that these simple decisions could be doing more harm than good, and in some cases slowly increasing health risks without you realizing it? In this video, we'll uncover which common foods you should never store in the fridge and why it matters for your long-term health. And I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts and habits in the comments so we can learn and build healthier routines together. Number 1. Potatoes, and why your fridge may be quietly turning them into a hidden danger. If you're like most people, you probably keep your potatoes in the fridge. It feels like a smart choice, right? Cold keeps things fresh. But when it comes to potatoes, this habit may be doing the exact opposite of what you intend. And for those of us over 60, the way we store our food matters even more, because our bodies don't process harmful substances the same way they used to. Here's what actually happens. When raw potatoes are stored in the fridge, the cold temperature changes the way the starch inside them behaves. Instead of staying as starch, it quickly turns into sugar. Now, that might not sound like a big deal at first, but here's where it gets concerning. When these sugary potatoes are later cooked at high heat, like baking, frying, or roasting, the natural sugars react with amino acids and form a chemical called acrylamide. Why should you care about acrylamide? Scientists have studied it for years and found that long-term exposure can increase the risk of serious health problems, including certain types of cancer. It's especially tricky because you can't see, smell, or taste acrylamide, but it's there, hiding in that golden brown crust we often love on roasted or fried potatoes. Even if the potato doesn't look burnt, if it was stored in the fridge first, the acrylamide levels can be much higher than normal. And for older adults, whose cells are more vulnerable to damage, that's a risk we don't want to take. But that's not the only issue. The fridge is also a damp environment, which encourages mold, bacteria, and even fungi to grow on your potatoes. You might notice them becoming soft, developing dark spots, or even starting to smell off sooner than expected. So instead of making them last longer, the fridge often does the opposite, making them spoil faster. So what's the better way? Stick with the old-fashioned method. Store your potatoes in a dry, cool, and well-ventilated place, like a basket or a cloth bag in a dark pantry. Avoid plastic bags, which trap moisture and speed up spoilage. And here's an extra tip for better health. Whenever you can, eat potatoes with their skin on. The skin contains fiber, which helps control blood sugar levels and supports digestion. Finally, when you cook potatoes, keep the temperature below 350 degrees, about 180 degrees C. Lower cooking temperatures mean less acrylamide forms. It might take a bit longer to cook, but your health is worth it. Now that we've uncovered why the fridge isn't the best place for potatoes, let's move on to the next food on our list, and this one might surprise you even more. Number 2, tomatoes, and why the fridge is quietly stealing their goodness. If you open your refrigerator drawer right now, chances are you'll find at least a few tomatoes sitting there. It feels natural, doesn't it? That's where we store fruits and vegetables to keep them fresh. But here's the truth. For tomatoes, the fridge may be doing more harm than good. Let's break it down. Tomatoes are living fruits. Even after they're picked, they continue to ripen naturally. This ripening process isn't just about getting softer or redder. It's when some of their most powerful nutrients become more active. One of these nutrients is lycopene, a strong antioxidant that helps protect our bodies. Lycopene is known for supporting heart health, reducing inflammation, and even helping protect against certain types of cancer. Think of it as a shield, helping slow down the silent rusting of our cells that happens with age. But when you put a tomato in the fridge, this process stops. The cold damages the tomato's internal membranes, leaving it with a mealy, watery texture and a flavor that feels off. More importantly, that chill disrupts the natural ripening, which means less lycopene and fewer of the health benefits your body could have gotten. For those of us over 60 who need every bit of nutritional support, that's a loss we shouldn't overlook. And there's more. Have you ever bitten into a cold tomato and wondered why it tastes bland or strange? That's not your taste buds, it's the cold. Refrigeration breaks down the fruit's internal structure, affecting both flavor and texture. So instead of enjoying a juicy, vibrant tomato, you're left with something dull and disappointing. The good news? Fixing this is simple. Keep your tomatoes out of the fridge. Store them in an airy basket, away from direct sunlight. If you buy tomatoes that are still a little green, you can help them ripen naturally. Here's a trick. Place them next to a banana or an apple. These fruits release a natural gas called ethylene, which speeds up ripening. No fancy equipment needed. And one more important tip. Avoid eating tomatoes with large green areas. Those green parts contain solanine, a natural compound that can be toxic in higher amounts. If you see too much green, it's better to wait until it ripens fully, or simply skip that tomato. By keeping your tomatoes at room temperature and letting them ripen naturally, you not only get the best taste and texture, but also the full health benefits they have to offer. Now that we've uncovered why tomatoes deserve a spot on your countertop, not in your fridge, let's move on to the next food. And this one might surprise you even more. Number 3. Bread. Why the fridge makes it worse, not better. For many of us, keeping bread in the fridge feels like common sense. After all, we want to protect it from mold and make it last longer. But here's the surprising truth. Storing bread in the refrigerator often ruins its texture, dulls its flavor, and can even speed up mold growth. Let's start with texture. Bread is made up of starches that hold on to moisture, giving it that soft, springy feel we love. But when bread sits in the cold, those starches begin to crystallize much faster than they would at room temperature. This process, called retrogradation, squeezes out the moisture and leaves you with a loaf that's hard, dry, and crumbly, the kind of bread that's unpleasant to chew and impossible to enjoy. And if you've ever taken a slice from the fridge only to find it stale, that's exactly what's happening. The cold air is breaking down its structure from the inside out. Then there's the issue of mold. It may seem like the fridge keeps mold away, but in reality, the opposite often happens. Refrigerators are humid environments, with moisture constantly circulating inside. This dampness encourages mold growth on bread, especially if it's stored in plastic bags. And if your bread is whole grain or naturally fermented, it can be even more vulnerable. These breads are full of natural enzymes and nutrients that are great for your health, but also make them more prone to spoilage when kept in the wrong environment. So how should you store bread properly? If you plan to eat it within a day or two, keep it in an airtight container or a clean cloth bag at room temperature, away from direct sunlight and humidity. This keeps the crust crisp and the inside soft, just the way it should be. But what if you need to keep it for longer? That's where the freezer comes in. Freezing bread is the best way to preserve its flavor, texture, and nutrients without the risk of mold. And here's an added benefit many people don't know. When you freeze bread and then reheat it in the toaster, oven, or even a skillet, the starch in the bread changes. It becomes what scientists call resistant starch. This type of starch acts like fiber in your body, improving digestion, balancing blood sugar, and even feeding the good bacteria in your gut. So by freezing and reheating your bread, you're not just saving it from going stale, you're actually making it better for your health. If you love your bread fresh, flavorful, and good for you, skip the fridge. Store it properly or freeze it, then reheat it when you're ready to enjoy. Now that we've uncovered why bread deserves better than the cold of your refrigerator, let's move on to the next surprising food on our list, one that you might be storing the wrong way without even realizing it. Number 4. Avocados. Why the fridge could be ruining one of the healthiest fruits you can eat. Have you ever put a hard green avocado in the fridge, thinking it would stay fresh longer? It feels like the right thing to do, doesn't it? But here's the problem. Refrigerating avocados before they're ripe can completely ruin their texture, dull their flavor, and even reduce their nutritional value. For those of us over 60, when every nutrient matters for our heart, brain, and overall health, that's a loss we can't afford. Avocados are sensitive fruits. They need time at room temperature to ripen naturally. This ripening process isn't just about making them soft and creamy. It's also when the enzymes inside the fruit activate and help unlock its full potential, transforming its fats, increasing its antioxidant levels, and enhancing its flavor. But when you put an unripe avocado in the fridge, these enzymes essentially shut down. The result? A fruit that stays hard on the outside, becomes fibrous and streaky inside, develops dark spots, and sometimes even tastes bitter. It looks like an avocado, but it's far from what it should be. And the loss isn't just in taste or texture. Avocados are packed with heart-healthy monounsaturated fats, fiber that supports digestion and stabilizes blood sugar, and antioxidants that protect your cells from damage. These benefits are especially important as we age, helping maintain brain function, support cardiovascular health, and fight inflammation. But when you interrupt the natural ripening process by refrigerating too soon, these compounds don't fully develop, leaving you with a less nutritious fruit. So, what's the right way to handle avocados? It's simple. Let them ripen at room temperature first. If your avocado is still green and firm, place it in a bowl or basket on the counter, away from direct sunlight. Want to speed things up? Try this easy trick. Put the avocado in a paper bag with a banana or an apple. These fruits release ethylene, a natural gas that helps accelerate the ripening process. In just a day or two, your avocado should be ready to enjoy, creamy, flavorful, and packed with nutrients. Once your avocado is ripe, that's when the fridge can actually help. If you're not planning to eat it immediately, you can store a whole ripe avocado in the refrigerator for up to 2 days. And if you've already cut it open, don't let it turn brown. A few drops of lemon or lime juice over the exposed flesh will slow oxidation and keep it looking and tasting fresh. Planning to save it for longer? You can even freeze avocados. Slice or mash them, add a little lemon juice, and store them in an airtight container. Frozen avocado works perfectly for smoothies, spreads, and guacamole, and it can stay good for up to 6 months. Handled the right way, avocados keep their creamy texture and all those health-boosting nutrients we need. Now that you know how to get the most from this superfood, Let's move on to the final item on our list, and it's one that might surprise you the most. Number 5. Bananas. Why your fridge is not their friend. Bananas are one of the most consumed fruits in the world. Sweet, convenient, and full of quick energy. But here's a mistake many of us make without thinking. Putting them in the fridge as soon as we get home from the market. It feels like the right thing to do, doesn't it? After all, we refrigerate other fruits to keep them fresh. But for bananas, this habit does more harm than good. Banana peels are extremely sensitive to cold. When you refrigerate them, the skin starts to darken rapidly. That blackening isn't normal ripening. It's cold damage, breaking down the natural pigments in the peel. On the inside, the changes are even more noticeable. The cold alters the fruit's texture, making it mealy and less pleasant to eat. And it doesn't stop there. Some of the nutrients in bananas become less bioavailable, meaning your body doesn't absorb them as effectively. So instead of getting all the benefits this fruit has to offer, you're left with less. Here's another important detail. The ripeness of a banana affects how your body processes it. As bananas ripen, their starches convert to sugars, which raises their glycemic index. In simple terms, the riper the banana, the faster it releases sugar into your bloodstream. For those of us over 60, these quick sugar spikes can be a problem, increasing hunger, promoting fat storage, and, over time, contributing to insulin resistance, diabetes, and even higher risks for other chronic diseases. That's why eating bananas at the right stage of ripeness, yellow, firm, with no large dark spots, is best for balancing taste and health. So, how should you store them? Keep bananas at room temperature, away from direct sunlight. To slow down ripening, try this simple trick. Wrap the stems with aluminum foil or plastic wrap. This reduces the release of ethylene gas, which is what causes bananas to ripen quickly. It's an easy way to keep them fresh for longer without resorting to the fridge. And if you find your bananas are getting too ripe and you don't want to waste them, freezing is your best option. Peel and slice them, store the pieces in an airtight container or freezer bag, and use them later for smoothies, pancakes, or even healthy desserts. Freezing preserves their nutrients and makes them ready for all kinds of recipes. Bananas are a wonderful fruit when handled properly, but the fridge isn't their friend. With these simple storage tips, you can enjoy their flavor, texture, and health benefits at their best. Now that we've gone through 5 common foods that suffer in the cold, it's clear. A few simple changes in how we store our groceries can make a big difference in our health. Number 6. Garlic, a powerful superfood that needs the right storage to stay safe. Garlic is one of the most celebrated foods in the world, praised for its ability to fight inflammation, support heart and brain health, and even help protect against certain cancers. But here's what many people don't realize. If you store garlic the wrong way, you can strip away much of its power. And in some cases, it can even become a serious health risk. Let's break it down. Garlic contains a compound called allicin. That's what gives it its strong smell and many of its healing properties. But when you put raw garlic in the fridge, especially if it's already peeled or chopped, the cold triggers early sprouting. Those little green shoots you see in the center of a clove? That's a sign the garlic's metabolism has changed. It may still be safe to eat, but its allicin levels drop significantly, which means fewer of the very benefits that make garlic so valuable for our health. The bigger danger comes from a habit some people find practical, mixing chopped garlic with olive oil and leaving it in a jar at room temperature. It seems convenient, doesn't it? But this creates a perfect breeding ground for a dangerous bacterium called Clostridium botulinum. This is the same bacterium that causes botulism, a rare but serious illness that attacks the nervous system, leading to muscle weakness, paralysis, and in severe cases, even death. It's a risk that's simply not worth taking. So what's the right way to store garlic? Keep whole bulbs with their peel in a dry, cool, and well-ventilated place, away from direct sunlight, just like people have done for centuries. This preserves its potency and keeps it safe. And if you like the convenience of pre-chopped garlic, skip the jar on the counter. Instead, chop it and freeze it. You can portion it into small molds or freezer bags so it's ready to use whenever you need it. Freezing maintains its flavor, retains its beneficial compounds, and most importantly, keeps it safe. Garlic can be a powerful ally for your health, but only if you store it properly. By making these small adjustments, you protect its incredible properties and avoid unnecessary risks. Now that we've looked at 6 common foods that often suffer from improper storage, it's clear how a few simple changes in our daily habits can make a huge difference for our health. Next, let's bring all of this together and see what it really means for your kitchen and your well-being. Number 7. Honey, a natural medicine that can lose its power in the cold. Honey has long been valued as one of nature's healthiest sweeteners, packed with anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and antioxidant properties. But here's a surprise. Storing honey the wrong way can strip away its benefits and make it unpleasant to use. One of the biggest mistakes? Putting honey in the fridge. Cold causes crystallization. The sugars separate from the water, making honey grainy, thick, and hard to handle. Many people think crystallized honey is spoiled and reheat it in the microwave or on the stove, but high heat destroys the very enzymes and antioxidants that make honey so powerful. The fix is simple. Store honey at room temperature, in a tightly sealed jar, away from sunlight and moisture. If it crystallizes naturally, gently place the jar in warm water, never boiling, until it turns smooth again. Remember, honey may be natural, but it's still sugar. For older adults, too much can raise blood sugar, strain the pancreas, increase triglycerides, and promote fat buildup in the liver, leading to chronic health problems. Handled the right way and enjoyed in moderation, honey can be a valuable ally for your health, keeping its flavor, texture, and healing properties intact. We've just gone through 7 everyday foods: potatoes, tomatoes, bread, avocados, bananas, garlic, and honey that are often stored the wrong way. These simple mistakes can quietly take away their nutrients, change their taste, or even create health risks. The good news is that small changes make a big difference. Keep honey at room temperature, let bananas and avocados ripen on the counter, freeze bread instead of refrigerating it, and store garlic and potatoes in a cool, dry place. These simple habits help keep your food fresh, flavorful, and full of health benefits. For those of us over 60, every good choice in the kitchen matters. By storing food the right way, we protect its nutrition, take better care of our health, and enjoy every bite more. If you found these tips helpful, subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments. What changes will you make in your kitchen starting today? Let's keep learning and building healthier habits together.